Good morning. I'm recording with the microphone this time because it's slightly earlier than I usually would record, so I just don't want to wake up my neighbors. So, either way, let's crack on. Whenever you're in a class and you're stuck on a problem, you're not sure what to do, you ask the teacher for feedback, and you're expecting some level of help, and yet you get none, supposedly. All they say is, "Oh, yeah, you're doing a great job, keep up." Or, that doesn't look quite right. Maybe you should need to go back and see what you can do differently. This, honestly, personally, I hated it. I don't know why teachers would say such vague, mysterious pieces of feedback. Is it even count as feedback? Personally, to me, it didn't. And only recently I realized why. This type of feedback is, in fact, one of the most useful ways to give feedback to people. However, there are nuances. But before that, let's take a step back. Imagine a scenario where you have a friend and they want to become a doctor, perhaps. However, they just can't wrap their head around chemistry, and specifically biochemistry. How do you go about helping them in this situation? Let's say they come up with a problem that they've attempted. They're not sure if they got it right and they want you to give them feedback. Would it be more useful for you to give them detailed feedback that, oh, I think you missed out this part. It's actually a dehydration reaction, it's not like this. Or would it be better for you to say, oh, you've given it a good attempt, and I think you're on the right track. Keep trying, and I think you'll get it. It's difficult to know what's the right option. So I want to share with you a story where I spoke with one of my friends. In fact, they're part of the mastermind. That is the reason why I'm doing these videos every day. It's a 30-day challenge, and we're all developing our own communication, presenting, and videography skills. What he mentioned in that call, he was basically telling us about a framework that he uses in his work to essentially train people on how to be an effective communicator. And it consists of cycles where someone is presenting and then they get very vague feedback. It's so vague that it's a they do a self-rating after they finish their first few minutes or so, and then the people listening rate their self-rating. They say nothing else. To me, I was baffled. I had no idea how this would help me. So, being curious, I just asked him. I asked him, why is being vague good when you're giving feedback? And he started mentioning to me that it's about developing the student's awareness. You see, if you, as a student, can become aware of your own problems, what does that mean? What does that imply? If I'm aware of my own problems and I know that, oh, it might be an issue with this part of my learning, this part of my communicating, this part of my presenting, I can now fix those issues myself. I can now take the steps in the right direction to make sure that I can experiment with a new strategy which targets those areas of weakness. The best part about this is I don't need any intervention. I don't need the feedback from the teachers. Whilst it does speed up the process, this self regulation is miles more important than anything else. But once again, let's come back to our friend who's studying biochemistry. What do you think would help them most? If they've already given it a shot, if they've already tried it out and they're asking you that, oh, Harsh, I'm not really sure if this part is right. Could you tell me about it? What would you do then? Would you cave in and give them more detailed feedback? Since they've already tried, haven't they? Or would you guide them through the process? Or prompt them? Personally, after that call with my friend Hunter, I'd say guiding them would be better. Just prompting them, letting them go to their own devices and experimenting. Whilst you may be inclined to say that it's a waste of time, it's not as efficient as getting feedback straight away, detailed feedback, you'd be surprised. It's because, yes, it's slow in the start, but the more mistakes they can find, the more they build up that intuition, that awareness that, oh, maybe there's something wrong with my approach. I wonder what it is. That approach, that intuition that they build up, will save them more time. If it's right before an exam, in that case, they don't have the time to fully build up that intuition. So you need to do a mix. You need to prompt them in the right direction. And then after they go ahead and try it, you can give them feedback, which is more detailed, more technical. That's a good, you call it, it's a good compromise. But there's more to it. What if they're not interested in the subject? That's where I think that this system crumbles. For example, I used to get such feedback with French, and I hated French. I loved it initially, and when writing came up, I just hated it entirely. I had no idea what I was doing wrong, and I lost all interest. There was no enablers for me. I didn't want to grow in it, and because I didn't want to, the vague feedback just became more annoying. Hence, I think it's a better way. Sorry, it's a better approach to take parts of that vague feedback, but also implement growth enablers, where you encourage the student to guide their own journey. This is harder than said. If you can get the student interested in what you're studying, in what they're studying, that's going to help them more than anything else. That's all I wanted to say for today. If you think that my insights are useful, or if you have something that you want to share with me, please let me know in the comments. Have a good day. Thank you.